All right. Thank you, Blaine.
I hear a voice from above.
Yes, yes. Good morning, everybody. Goodness gracious sakes alive, how good can it get on a Sunday morning? Being here at Woodland Chapel. People call this a spiritual living center. A center for finding spirituality, living spiritually, all those kinds of things, learning more. We love calling it that, but we've always loved calling it Woodland Chapel. So you probably hear that a lot around here. Welcome to Woodland Chapel on this Sunday morning, everyone. God bless. Oh. Is there anyone visiting for the very first time? Anyone here? I see some right there. Hello. Ah, well, welcome back. You, James and Valentine, yes, yes, yes. We love them, so we'll love you too. All right. Welcome, welcome. Hey, we hope you like what you hear, what you see. We hope you come back. All right, welcome. Anyone else? Y'all look familiar to me here. I've seen y'all before, sorta. Okay. So if you're new here and you got your packet, you're going to get some good information. Take a look through that. But there's something we would like to always bring up, and that is this little card here. It's a great card. It's goldenrod, they call it, but it said, "Let's get acquainted." If you haven't done this, filled one of these out, please do so and put it in the pot, we call it the plate coming around, the offering. And we want to stay in touch because there's lots of things goes on here, and we like you to know all about it and keep you in touch like that. Yeah, have you got something to add to that?
I do.
Thank you.
So today's the first Sunday of the month, and every first Sunday has been our potluck, very traditional here. And the first thing I want to say is I want to acknowledge and thank James and Valentina for stepping up to be our potluck organizers. Yeah. This is the first time, and they've brought some wonderful things downstairs that you'll see, and so we hope everybody is participating. If you forgot or didn't know, you're still welcome to join us for potluck after. It's a good time to socialize and eat some good food.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we know why some of you have come. It's potluck today, right? Okay, it's a good time to come. We want you to join us after this morning service because if you didn't bring a dish, boy, we have plenty. Let me tell you, we have plenty. We have plenty of chicken, I can tell you that much. Pick some up today. So, shortcut to a miracle. I want to tell you about that. There's still time to get in on the action, the good action of that. You know, Reverend Julie and Cheryl Ostrander, our religious science practitioner, has an 8-week class going on. It just started, and to explore what we call the truth about miracles. Did you know there is a truth about miracles? They just don't happen, you know. There's a purpose, there's a reason. The truth is there. Anyhow, the schedule starts on Tuesdays. April the 28th is when it started. And then it runs through the June 16th. Is there anything that's between 7 and 9 p.m.? Isn't it 7 and 9 p.m.? Got it, okay. And the fee is only $568.42 minus, brings it clear down to, on the discount, $150. How can you go wrong to that?
For 8 weeks.
Okay. Anything else on that?
And this week we have our Wednesday night discussion group called LIT. That stands for Living Intentionally Today. So we've been doing this now for a few months. It's the first and third Wednesdays here from 7 to 8:30. It's kind of my idea, and so I run it. But we've been having a lot of people show up and having a nice discussion. It's a chance to share whatever challenges that we might individually be experiencing in our daily lives, and then we're there to support each other and remind each other of spiritual principles that we can apply every single day, because this philosophy, this belief system works when you when you use the principles every day in your life.
Sure does. Amen to that. Yes. Soup for the Soul luncheon. Please remember to sign up in the library. That comes up every third Sunday. There's a thing that we're trying to do here is we call it declutter. And every once in a while we have a real nice, what do you call it?
Rummage sale.
Rummage sale, yeah. Where you rummage through everything you got you don't want. It's a good way to get rid of it. And it earns money for the chapel. It's a good thing. It starts on June 18th and runs through the 20th there. The drop-off day is going to be on a Thursday. And we're going to keep reminding you about this. You're not going to forget about this. So June 18th, and it's followed by sale days. Oh, that's on June 19th and 20th. See, I won't remember all that. I might be talking about it later when it's getting closer, but we'll keep talking and talking.
Well, we just want to remind people, so I don't know about the rest of you, but I am working on decluttering my house again. And we just want to remind you that if you're also in that process, to save the things rather than give it away, hold on to it for the rummage sale here at Woodland Chapel, because it does, bring us a nice income. It's also a chance to work and play together for those 3 days.
Yeah.
Everybody that's involved, the volunteers, we always have a good old time. And so it's a win-win all the way around. So hold on to those things, and we'll let you know when you can bring them. We don't have storage space, so please don't bring them early, but we'll keep reminding you of the dates for the rummage sale.
Yeah. And Kathy's always involved, and if Kathy's involved, there's a lot of fun going on. So, yeah, join us on that. I think that's what we want to kind of clear up here. Let's just have some music. What do you say?
Well, there's one more thing I see
Uh-oh.
on here about, you talked about the yellow form, the lavender form in
Okay.
front of the pews. It's so that you can submit confidential prayer requests and also comments. So we're listening. If you want to submit any suggestions or ideas, those lavender forms are the way that you can do that. And we do listen to what you have to say, and we find it valuable.
Spoke well spoken. All right, let's stand and sing our congregational song. First one.
You are sacred love is all that you are. You are sacred love is all that you are. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Such a holy place. Blessed peace. You are blessed peace. Blessed peace is all that you are. You are blessed peace. Blessed peace is all that you are. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Such a holy place. Deepest joy. You are deepest joy. Deepest joy is all that you are. You are deepest joy. Deepest joy is all that you are. Feel the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such such a holy place. Sacred love. You are sacred love. Sacred love is all that you are. You are sacred love. Sacred love is all that you are. As we get ready for prayer, it's a song, not really a song, it's a prayer in itself. It is not I, but the Spirit within, who does these things. I see before me. It is not I, but the Spirit within. Oh, glory to God. Oh, glory to God. Join me. It is not I, but the Spirit within, who does these things. I see before me. It is not I, but the Spirit within. Oh, glory to God. Oh, glory to God.
I invite you to turn within with me, knowing that Spirit is the action, Spirit is the power. It is not I, but the Spirit within that makes everything happen in my life. Right here and now, I align myself with that power. I align myself with that knowing, that wisdom, that truth that operates as me. I know it is here in me now, as it is within each one of you. I know Spirit is moving through this gathering, through this community, through this center, in this moment, in this service, in this congregation. All things are possible. I know that each desire of the inner soul is being addressed today. I know that Reverend Julie has a message that will resonate individually with me, with you, with each of us. That's how it works. I'm grateful to be part of this. I'm grateful to send this prayer out into the universe on behalf of each of you. On behalf of each of you. I'm grateful for this outpicturing that's happening, the rain of blessings that flows down into each one of us. And with this gratitude in my heart, I release this message into the law, knowing it is done as spoken and through grace so much more. And please join me in saying, and so it is. We have a group affirmation here in blue. Please join me in saying, I allow Spirit to flow through me to reveal wholeness within my mind, within my body, within my spiritual life, and so it is.
Morning. The Science of Mind magazine daily guides for May were written by Reverend Christine Green. She's a member of the Centers for Spiritual Living ministry team. Her focus for May is to see doubt as a divine catalyst. She says it's a signal to bring us back to faith and freedom. As an author and a business speaker and a background with business and spiritual studies, she finds inspiration in helping others grow beyond their limitations. Her May 1st daily guide is entitled Doubt Out, and it begins with a quote from Gandhi. Prayer is not asking. It is a longing of the soul. It is a daily admission of one's weakness, and so it is better in prayer to have heart without words than words without heart. And from Ernest Holmes, she found this quote: no matter what the outside appearance, we must cling steadfastly to the knowledge that God is good and God is all underneath and round about. Her message: I was sitting on my patio and noticed the squirrels busily collecting nuts and leaves. They scampered away to safely store their treasures to be used for another day. They clearly were on a mission to accomplish the task at hand. Later that day, I was in my car and there was a squirrel in front of me, appearing to be completely confused, frantically darting back and forth, narrowly avoiding its own demise. Fortunately, the escape was successful. That's what doubt feels like. When it is constructive, it guides me to gather more information that will help me on my journey. But when it's just emotional, it stirs up ambivalence, anxiety, and mistrust, and has me scurrying in all directions, doing several things at once, and not accomplishing anything and feeling exhausted. The secret is to not grant any power to doubt, but to recognize it as soon as it shows up. It is an indicator that we are sidetracked from our path, and it is time to return to what we know to be true. Remember to breathe. Breathe out doubt. Breathe in clarity. Affirming with Ernest Holmes, he says, whatever I ought to know, I shall know. Whatever I ought to do, I shall do. Whatever belongs to me will come to me. Reverend Lloyd Strom developed a powerful practice to shift your energy in these moments. When feeling doubt, clap your hands loudly and say, doubt out. That wasn't very, is that better? Doubt out. Then bring your hands to your heart and say, faith in its place. Then declare what you want. I have no need to scurry or scamper like a squirrel. I feel fully grounded in my oneness with infinite potential. And she closes with this affirmation. I affirm that every step of my way is guided and guarded. Thank you. And this is the Science of Mind magazine.
So this next song, I love a good metaphor, and this metaphor comes to us from the world of scuba diving and Jimmy Buffett. So when you're underwater and you get tossed around, you may not know which way is up, and in diving they tell you to watch where your bubbles are going, and that points the way. So we're going to sing this song, and the title of the song is Bubbles Up, and I'd like you to join me to go bubbles up. Try it one time. Bubbles up. There we go. When this world starts reeling from that pressure drop feeling, you're just treading water each day. There's a way to feel better, be well set to weather the storms when they rise again. When your compass is spinning and you're lost on your way, like a word in the wind, friend, hear me when I say, bubbles up, it will point you towards home. No matter how deep or how far you roam, it can show you the surface, the plot, and the purpose. So when the journey gets long, just know you are loved. There's a light up above. Enjoy, there's always enough. Bubbles up. Bubbles up. To my friends who are jolly, slim melancholy nuts, sometimes they let her in to sit and tell stories of failure and glory, and how this whole world will end. Sometimes life can be trouble, multiplied double, but they love it too much for the journey to end. Bubbles up, I will point you towards home. No matter how deep or how far you roam, it can show you the surface, the plot, and the purpose. So when the journey gets long, just know you are loved. There's a light up above. Enjoy, there's always enough. Bubbles up. Bubbles up. So let's raise a glass to our friends who have passed, to the bright future days and the warm summer nights. Bubbles up, it can point you towards home. No matter how deep or how far you roam, it can show surface, the plot and the purpose. So when your journey gets long, just know you are loved. There's a light up above, and joy is always enough. Bubbles up, bubbles up, bubbles up. That was fun.
We got pretty good by the end, didn't we? Yeah. Another rendition would be perfect. Well, one of the things that I want to say too is a welcome to all the people who watch us online, because we have an online community. And while we'd love everyone to be here present, we are so grateful that technology is here, because I actually spend part of my time in a place where there's no community, and there's always community. So welcome to everyone who's online too. So you won't get to go to the potluck, but sorry about that. So our theme for May is in the flow, and I wanted to talk about health, being in the flow of health. And when I began this, I thought, oh my gosh, this is exactly like school, where I had a thesis to do, I had a paper to do, and I would make it on the entire Roman Empire, instead of, narrowing it down to a little bite that someone could chew. So that's kind of how I feel. It's such a big subject. And we could talk about anything from chakras to surgery, with DNA in between. So I thought what I've been wanting to do, and maybe this is an opportunity for me to actually commit to doing this, is to have a workshop where we go deeper into this, because I haven't done one for a while, and it's profoundly good. And I'll tell you something about me that it is not listening to my own preaching, but I thought, okay, I will do this when I am perfect, when I am in perfect health. Everything is perfect. And then I thought, well, time is passing. And that's not happening. So if you are interested in something like this, and it is fun, and we cover a whole lot of things, because over the years, I have explored many, many avenues of healing, and indeed from chakras to surgery. And just put that on the back of the goldenrod card, and those of you who are here for the first time, you can fill that out too. And but just say that if you'd be interested, because we don't have a lot of time here at Centers for Spiritual Living. The community is really busy, and with a lot of things going on during the week. So if you let me know, I can kind of figure out some time to do that. So, okay, well, for those of you who are not familiar with this, Centers for Spiritual Living is part of movement that's like an umbrella movement called the New Thought Movement. And there's a lot of churches, a lot of organizations, a lot of groups. Part of this New Thought Movement is a philosophy, a way of looking at the world. And one leg of this was founded on healing. And by a fellow, the movement was founded in the early 19th century. And that one leg by a fellow named, I love his name, Phineas Parker Quimby. And he was a clockmaker. But he began to explore different avenues, and he got into mesmerism, which was hypnosis in a guy, and he realized that they could diagnose things, and people could actually be healed, because he tuned into another dimension. And then he realized he did not need somebody, that he could talk to people, because on some level we all know what's going on in our own body. And his story is he was diagnosed with consumption, which is tuberculosis, And it was a dread disease in those days. Almost no one lived through it. And you got weaker and weaker until you passed away. And so he'd been diagnosed, told he had consumption, and he was getting weaker and weaker. So he went to, he decided, well, he'd go for a ride in the fresh air with his horse and his buggy. Well, something spooked the horse, and the horse took off, and he had to jump up, and he had to stop the horse before there was a dreadful accident, and it took a ton of energy to do this, to pull the horse back. And when he got home, he realized he had a lot of energy. And he began to believe that he really wasn't ill, that he believed he was ill. And so it's kind of turned the corner for him. And so after that moment, he experienced no more symptoms of consumption. So what happened, without going through a long story, is he became well known. And people came from him all over New England, and he would sit with them because he believed that they were healthy, that they only believed that they were ill. And people would go away cured because they accepted his belief about them, and it became their belief. So he thought that he had discovered Jesus' teaching on healing. And whether that's true or not, I don't know, but it became one leg of the New Thought movement. Now, the New Thought movement is just an umbrella, and it's not new. I know that it's so confusing to call it a New Thought movement. It is, as a movement in the United States, relatively new. But New Thought, I think the best I can come to what that means is have a new thought, have a new experience. Because it is not actually new. For those of you who read Plato, I won't answer hands up. He lived like 350 to 400 years before Jesus. And he formed a theory about form. Well, Socrates did this too, so the two of them, if you're into all that. Okay. And if you're not, well, I'm going to tell you a little bit. So he had a theory that there's an ideal form for everything that's created. And creation is a reflection of that perfect form. And those forms were ideals like beauty, peace, justice. And somehow when we become a solid matter, we become in form, we have an imperfect expression of those. So the reason I'm bringing up Plato is because this is not a new idea. This idea that there is a perfect form that we call, there is one mind, one presence, and that presence we call God's Spirit, whatever name you want to give it, the ineffable that you can only experience, but it shows up in us as us. And that perfect perfection exists for us. And we talk about that all the time. So if that perfection exists, why do we get ill? Why do we have less than a perfect reflection of that? I don't know. I don't presume to tell anyone why they're ill. Even myself, it's a long journey to figure out what goes on with me. But because we all have our own journey. But some of the reasons, and first I'm going to tell you a story why I really got into health. Many years ago when my son was 12, we used to go to Hermiston and spend Thanksgiving with our relatives. And naturally, he had a appendicitis attack on Thanksgiving Day. And he started getting sicker and sicker, more pain. And, he was in bed, and then it suddenly occurred to me that might be something serious going on. We should go to the hospital. And previous to that, my cousin and I had been downtown shopping, and I picked up a book by Dr. Brew Joy. And some of you may have heard of him. And it was my first introduction to the idea that we have the ability within us not only to heal ourselves, but through the energy that we can share with somebody else to be a healing presence. And it was so phenomenal. I consumed that book before he had his appendicitis attack. So we go to the hospital, and he's in pain. And you don't want to see your son in pain. He's 12. And so remembering this book, and I stood at the head of his bed, and because I had no anything, it was just pure love in this. I put my hands on him, and I could feel the energy coursing through me. And suddenly the pain was all gone. And it was like, wow. By the way, that is the one thing I remind him of when he doesn't believe me. But the pain was all gone. And then I thought, wow, this is good. But then I began to worry. The doctor's coming in, and he's going to think nothing's wrong. So he's irritated enough that he had to leave his Thanksgiving dinner and come to the hospital. But I told him what I had done. And of course, I'm sure he thought I was just the weirdest thing ever. And he was a little unhappy with me. But I said, don't let that stop you from seeing what's wrong with him. And indeed, he had appendicitis. And the next day, he's in his room, and I'm sitting there beside his bed, and I thought, oh my God, that worked so well. I'm going to send him healing energy. So I stood up there, and I sent all this energy into his body, and I immediately got sick and weak, and I had to sit down. Because there was a part I didn't finish. I guess I didn't pay attention to the rest of the book. Because it is not our energy ever. But if we are in that state, I don't know why. There are people who are really healers, and I'm not. But the power can come through us. Can come through. It is that life energy, that elan vital. It is that which keeps us alive. And so in that state of perfect love, I just put my hands on him, and the energy just flowed through me, and I could feel it. And many of you know what I'm talking about, because you do a little bit of this practice and you can feel it. But the next day, I wasn't in tune with anything. It was all just like, I am going to do this. Kind of coming from an ego place, I guess. But what happened is why I got weak and I got sick after I went back and read more, is that I was using my own energy. It took all the energy out of my body. So you may think, oh, this is woo-woo and just weird. But there's more to this universe than we are aware of. So that's the reason I really got into this. I really began to explore not only healing, but this power that is us and as us, and this perfect form that Plato talked about, that our New Thought teachers talk about, the perfect essence. When we say we are perfect, whole, and complete, we mean in the essence of ourselves. And we don't always express that perfection and wholeness. So why do we experience illness then? So there are a lot of reasons, I think, that we come up with, and it's a journey that we're on, and it's going to be a journey for our own awakening, for us to figure these things out for ourselves, or at least go on that journey. So for some people, do you believe in eternity, that we exist for all time? Some of us believe we exist before we were born, and we exist after we die. That there is simply an eternal experience. And if so, then this is one chapter in a book of our life, and perhaps what's happening in this chapter is because of something happening in the previous chapter. Some people believe that. Do you believe in DNA? I mean, of course, we all do today. We all do. And it's a directive force. And it's a blueprint for our life, of course. It's a blueprint for our life, and we often think, well, we're determined by our DNA. But we're not. We are and we aren't. So we can't say, well, this is because this is a DNA, a problem, a genetic problem. Because our DNA just sits there. Yeah, it just sits there. And then it tells RNA a code, and RNA goes out and makes proteins. And these are what create our life. Okay? But there's more to it than that. A long time, well, not a long time ago, but not too far long ago, there was a documentary on CNN, or in one of the stations, CBS, and it showed, it was a research on DNA, which is so fascinating, looking at identical twins. Because identical twins have identical DNA, don't they? Same DNA. It's one egg splits. Identical DNA. And so there's a lot of research using identical twins. And they cited this one pair. Even have their names, Dorothy and Doris. And one twin had dementia. She had Alzheimer's. And one twin didn't. So how could that be if they're both genetically determined? And my point in this is not a biology lesson. It's to think that perhaps my life is not determined by something, but that I have some control over it. That the difference is environmental. What's our environment? Which says that there is something that can tell a DNA to express or not express. A study's called epigenetics. But here's the interesting thing I think about that, because we all have an environment, and some we can control and some we can't. Well, we can probably control a lot more than we do. But even what scientists have discovered is even our thoughts can methylate a DNA and turn it on or turn it off. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, a lot of research on this. Even our thoughts. And I don't know about you, and I don't like to tell on myself too much, but I have had some negative thoughts in my life. And what I have noticed is I can begin to feel it in my body. And I didn't know what all I was doing by that. And it's not to say, never have a negative thought, or look what you're doing. You're ruining your body. I'm not saying that, because we're all here, human. But even our thoughts have an effect on how our genetic material expresses or doesn't express. So, and our family. Okay, I'm going to be here till noon. I better quit. I won't go into family stuff. But Carolyn Mace, I don't know if any of you have read her books. Some of you have read her books. She discovered that for whatever reason, not everyone wants to heal. Not everyone wants to heal. And, that's okay. We're all on our own journey. But not everyone does. Maybe we enjoy the tension we get. I don't know. And because it might require us to change. And the change is something that's more frightening sometimes than the disease. And perhaps it's the deep anger we have at someone. And you know what? Sometimes we just want to hold on to that. But at the same time, we're also holding on to the effect in our body. I want to quote, because, see, this is why I have to do a workshop. Because you're thinking, am I ever going to get down to that fried chicken? I want to quote Peggy Bassett, because some of you know her, and I won't go into her story, but it's amazing. She said, I do believe the emergence of symptoms is not an onset of disease, but the beginning of its resolution. So when we begin to feel symptoms of some sort, it's not the beginning. Something has already happened. And just on a simple way, I know that whenever I get a cold sore, I'm doing too much and I'm stressed. If I get a cold, it's a message. Our bodies give us messages. We don't always listen. So, to open up to that divine inflow, I'm going to try to end this really quickly here, because you guys, there is so much. We're such mysteries. It's so incredible. It's so incredible how our physical bodies work and how our mental bodies have a great deal effect on our physical bodies. I'm going to really briefly tell you, in one of my favorite authors, Ralph Waldo Trine, who tells a story of it's actually someone that they knew who there's a stream coming down the mountain, and he builds a pond. He kind of dams up the stream a little bit, creates this beautiful pond, and suddenly there's birds around and butterflies, and there's all sorts of growth around the pond, and it's just a beautiful, peaceful place for people to be. And then he said this friend rented this property out because he was going to be out of the country for a year. And the guy who rented it didn't want to bother. And so he diverted the stream so he wouldn't have to bother with tending the pond and all that. And it became murky and died, and there was no more life around it. And it's Blaine talking about metaphor. I think that's the way it works for all of us, and we want information, but you guys, the main thing is to get into the flow of that inner spirit within you. Because at some level, we're all mystics. That divine perfection that is us as is, that's energy that I used with my son. What does that mean? But to get into the flow in prayer and meditation and the stillness of that which is our life force. And I just, invite you guys, if you want to go deeper into this, just fill out that card and put it in the offertory basket. We'll see what we can schedule. So namaste. We are going to get down to the potluck pretty soon. We'll let this go. So.
I'm glad you mentioned environmental stuff. Here's a song about that. Here's an idea whose time has come. A new generation decides as one of the same small planet we are born. There's no one so obvious before. We breathe the same air, drink the same water, walk the same earth, touch the same sky. We breathe the same air. I think we ought to get along better, you and I. Future of history, it's crystal clear. The board borders between us must all disappear. Well, of the same small planet we are born, and there's no foreign countries anymore. We breathe the same air, drink the same water, walk the same earth, and touch the same sky. We breathe the same air, and I think we ought to get along better, you and I. Well, some say I'm out of touch with the times, that there's no place for a vision like mine. But I still see it, and I still believe it. There's so many lives on the line. There's so many lives on the line. Sing with me. We breathe the same air, drink the same water, touch the same earth, touch the same sky. We breathe the same air, and I think we ought to get along better. You and I, we breathe the same air, drink the same water, walk the same earth, touch the same sky. We breathe the same air, and I think we ought to get along better. You and I get along better. You and I.
That's perfect. Perfect. Thank you. Wow. And if we only could. And this is in time in our service for our offertory.
Yes, we do.
And there's an affirmation in your bulletin. Let's say it together. Divine love, moving in and through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive. Thank you, God.
And so it is.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
So in this blessing, we know that we are so blessed. That's how we feel here at this house of faith. Whether we be minister, whether we be practitioner, whether we be congregant, it matters not. This is a place where we can come and feel blessed. The feeling is what we get. Whenever we receive the message or the music is like it is this morning, is so great. And when we give back in the way that We're giving materially as well as in our service, the things that we volunteer to do. We are so blessed. And we want you to know that we feel that way constantly about you. We see you, I say this every time, we see you as our beloveds. We are so blessed. Thank you again for what you've given here today in the way of your blessings. And so it is. Well, we have a prayer of protection that we like to stand and see. Let's do that right now. It starts out with the light of God. The light of God watches over us. The love of God enfolds us. Let's start over, shall we? It's the light of
All right, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. All right.
Let's stand with our hands together.
That was meant to be with God as creator. Grandly all are we. Let us walk with my traveling in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be our moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Now there is peace on earth, and let it begin with me. You are sacred love is all that you are. You are sacred love is all that you are. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Such a holy place. You are sacred love is all that you are.